All right, so in this video, we're going to finish our discussion on the melees and the overruns, the close-in, close quarters combat. And the last part that we haven't covered is the overrun specifically. So that's when you have an armored fighting vehicle essentially running down their opponent, getting really close on them, trying to squish them with treads, close-in combat, that type of stuff. Do keep in mind, like we mentioned in our previous parts, though, that it can only be performed in clear or degrading terrain. Blocking terrain is not able to be overrun into. And terrain does have the possibility of being changed during the course of a turn. We're going to cover that a little bit later on. So if that does happen, so let's say our Easy 8 here performed an overrun into this SS squad and this terrain were changed to blocking terrain, then its overrun would be canceled. They would no longer get to perform that during the upcoming upkeep phase. All right, so the basic principles are the same that we've talked about previously. Now, the exception to this, so let's say our Easy 8 is performing an overrun onto the SS squad. When it comes to the factors that you're considering here, you actually get to total a lot of numbers for the attacking unit. Their machine gun firepower and their HE firepower gets to be included when you're determining the amount of D6 checks they're going to perform. So for our Easy 8 here, we would be looking at a lot of machine gun firepower. We've got 2, 4, that's 6, and then 3 for its HE. That would be 9. Now, you have to keep track on whether or not the vehicle is buttoned. If the tank is buttoned, then the machine gun firepower would get halved. So we would have 1 and 2 respectively instead of 2 and 4. So that would reduce it down from 9 checks to 6 checks, just depending on whether or not this vehicle is buttoned. It is also different for infantry that are being overrun. They only get a single D6 check per unit against the overrunning attacker. Now, when it comes to half squads, they essentially count as half a D6 check rounded up. So if there was, our single SS squad here, that's 1 check. If they had a half squad with them, that would be another half check, but you'd round it up so it would give them another check. Now remember, the overrunning vehicle can overrun any unit. They don't have to overrun just infantry. They can overrun an armored fighting vehicle like another tank, but you wouldn't use their factors. You would use their frontal armor to determine how many D6 checks they were going to receive. Also, if that unit didn't have frontal armor, it was a weakly armored unit, it would still receive a single check. Now, there are some more modifiers that will be listed down on your player aid, but just to go over them very quickly, you get +1 D6 checks against armored fighting vehicles that are shaken. You would also get another +1 D6 check against a defending armored fighting vehicle that is spent. And also, if the vehicle is bogged down, you would also get a +1 D6 check. And just like I mentioned previously, when it comes to determining the damage, it will be done exactly as we talked about in the earlier parts, depending again on whether or not it is infantry or an armored fighting vehicle that is being overrun.